Hey folks, and I've returned. Yeah, that was less helpful of a grind than I had hoped. Let me just get this going again. Like so often they just ended up camping here, and these guys wouldn't come down and fight. Or I would stand here and they'll be just busy fighting here. Like 20 minutes of nada. I feel this place could serve as an adequate grinding spot. You know, what with the constant infinite spawn of enemies. But you have to do something about the positioning. Enemies also getting stuck in the bushes is well, you actually slaughtered yourself, well done. Enemies also getting stuck in the bushes is another issue. So we're nearly at 29 archery, well 29 defense, and we're over halfway through 25 archery. In which case... let's head over here and grab some mage gear. I need to keep most of this armor on, but I can grab a few bits to help out. Ember Staff is a good one. Grab that. Okay, I do have keys in here. I really wish you could do a search. I suppose there's something to be said for keeping your inventory nice and orderly, but that sounds like a lot of work. Here we go. 14 keys. do have a better thing of bracers around here somewhere. There we go. Neither are magic related. I don't have magic related bracers. This game is very stingy on non-ranged bracers. I'm just looking for the health. Should have tidied these up. I'll send them to Horsey and send them off with them. I'm a little annoyed at how tedious sending stuff to Horsey is. But it is still a massive step up from what we used to have. What we used to have, well, sorry. I was phrasing this as if this was RuneScape. Sending to Horsey is tedious, but it's still much better than dealing with like actual RuneScape gameplay, where you have to run back to the bank yourself every time if you want to keep it. So it is a major step. Stop glitching out calls of reality, damn it. You're not 2 guys, you're like 7. Did I never send you off? Well, job done. Shame I'm 1 mana off being able to cast Bombard twice. Mana regen's gotten a lot better. Like, that is a hell of a thing. There's 16. Do it. Thank you. What we have to do is get this up to 25. Then we'll have all the combo related skills to 25 or higher. Then we have to finish with woodsmanship, though to be honest, I could probably just AFK out at the sawmill unless what I've... no, it's 5k. Yeah, probably... I could go deal with the sawmill a bit, get some more logs, and then just AFK out, occasionally tag in to place more logs in, and just boot it down. Fishing is going to take a little bit. One way to speed it up is if I go fish up a ton of pebble sturgeon, I could fill with them, and then... oh, actually I can't do that till next level. Well, I'll be able to get it, it's fine. So, I fish up a ton of sturgeon, fill with them, then cook them up. That will combo with my cooking, and I'll get additional fishing XP. I'll get to 3 stages of fishing XP. One for fishing, one for filleting, one for cooking. So... Heya. Just put a note there on that video. Need to get back to editing. My phone really far behind on it all. Goddamn. So the staff's auto attack is just... Ember. Okay. Good, didn't get any bones. And there's Defense 29 and Sorcery 17. Seriously, being able to do Bombardment is a nice boost to your XP. But you can only do it once in a blue moon. Unless you wear more wizard gear. And if I wear more wizard gear, then I would not be able to stand it like this. Yeah, unlike something like RuneScape that penalizes you for wearing melee, you can easily wear melee and be an archer. Be running around trying to be Legolas in full plate. It's fine. You can do it. Game does not care. I think I'm getting a few misses too. Horsey just does not care right now about the fighting. But seriously, Horsey makes grinding like this actually feasible. I'm not sure if I can go back to RuneScape in a way, simply for all the quality of life changes that this game has over it. I want to play RuneScape, but the idea of playing this kind of game without being able to send people back mid-run, send stuff back mid-run to do that kind of thing hurts, you know? Because this is just such a handy thing, it's such a beautiful thing. And it, like in this game, it takes so long to get anywhere. Unless you have high-level magic, it takes forever to get anywhere. High-level magic, fairy rings unlocked, it takes forever to get anywhere. And those are a much later game than any sort. Sorry, did I say this game? In that game, in RuneScape, it takes forever to get anywhere. Unless you have, like, you're at least mid-game, you know? So, maybe it's an issue of not focusing on, like, priorities. Maybe when you're playing the game, there's a list of priorities you have to stick to. If you want to have a good time, you know? Not sure. But yeah, it's just like in this game, like I bought a number of houses now. I can port to any of them on a 10-minute cooldown. If I have a spell, if I have a scroll with me, I can just teleport to them whenever I want. I can send stuff back to my bank as I want. There's minor restrictions on it, and it's done. You know, it's a very beautiful thing. Because, like, say if I wanted to do this in RuneScape, I would have had to do exactly what I'm doing here. Say if there was an area for it, I kill some enemies, then I have to run to the bank. That's probably a 10-minute walk, a 10-minute run away, and then come back, and then keep doing it, you know? It would be nowhere near this efficient. And I wouldn't have these like these utility bags here or anything like that. Like, you may find a bag that carries a material, like say the rune essence bags, but they will be a later game thing, and you know, they'll be like the base one is a tree slaughter, and you can get bigger and bigger bags, but they require, like, they're both gated by skill and the difficulty of the enemy you have to kill to get them, and they degrade. So if every time you use them, they get a bit weaker and weaker and weaker before they break, and you have to get a new one. You can get them repaired, but that requires you going into the abyss with a ton of difficult enemies. So it's gated away from lower level gameplay, meaning I've never really seen it. Nice. So yeah, there's just a lot of quality of life changes here that really do for me. So, like, if I ever want to get my... This guy's just glitching out. RuneScape itch scratched, I would have to play something like this, and not actually RuneScape. But sad thing is, this doesn't quite scratch my RuneScape itch, because I know it's not RuneScape. This is its own thing, and I respect them too much as different properties to be able to, get the itch scratched from this one for the other one, basically. It's kind of also in the aesthetic, the look of it, and whatnot. You know, it's just a vibe, basically. I'm actually going to stop for a second. Do this first. Do that. Do this. Stopping now. BRB. Yeah, well, folks, I'm back after a while of being away. Should I disengage? Mind blanking. So I can put stuff on the horse. Probably should. Excuse me. Head off. God, the chugging. Not much XP. Where's that keyboard? Hey, folks, and I'm back. Nice. Oh, that's being able to cast that twice is awesome. So let's see, magic. Now cast Pyre's Paralysis. At level 20, which isn't too far away, I can use the Staff of Furious Winds, so I can auto-cast Malevolent Gale. Which is a markedly more powerful spell. Though it will get weaker when I'm using the Staff iteration. Something I see on occasion along my Twitter line is one person's learning Japanese through exposure, as they put it, or immersion. I can't remember what they called it, but they're talking about the issues of Japanese people learning English that they're saying. That's fun. And it's interesting. It's just seeing, like, I would love to learn Japanese, but it seems like a very daunting language. And to be honest, I have little motivation to do much. And motivation is kind of an important thing in doing anything, especially learning another language. Sorry, I thought I saw something there. Been bothered by moths for the last while, and thought I saw one here, but I've gotten so twitchy about them. I started imagining them. Bonk. Just trying to keep protect my cup here, so I don't obviously want the moth crawling around on it. But it's like, it's something I would love to learn, and so it's just interesting seeing the inverse, basically. Them having difficulties learning English. Apparently their difficulties were more fixation, like, from what the guy had been saying, was more fixation on, like, learning off, like, vocab lists and whatnot. Like, rather than... trying to get used to the sound of the language and whatnot, engaging in that way, just vocab lists. But thinking about it, that's all we did when we were trying to learn Irish. Just vocab lists and tests. I suppose there was that tape work, but that always made it difficult when they would use Irish from around the country, because depending on the region you go, they have completely different ways of saying words. I'm actually just coming to realize that their issues with learning it aren't so different. It's similar issues here with trying to learn Irish. We saved the excuse that it's a foreign language. I am Irish. I feel my articulation was poor there. Basically, that they're fixated on just like memorizing the words and learning it that way. No real embracing the language, like not embracing the language, but engaging in the language in any way other than just studying their test books back to front, and writing it all out. And I'm kind of realizing that we kind of did the same fucking thing with Irish. Not to quite that degree, but when we were doing Irish in class, all it was oh, the fires just... there is a forest there. Using fires like that seemed a little... burn the place down. But, yeah, I feel like we kind of did the same thing. It was a lot of, like, learning stuff off, and, there was some tape work where we would listen to someone talking, but we'd have to try and figure out what they were saying. But I always found it like impenetrable. Didn't help that they would use, say, like Irish from another part of the country that would never be hearing otherwise. So you would end up hearing like Dia smorgwit, Conas to Tomega Ma, August Fain. That's Irish, but a different region would have their own different way of saying all those words to the point where they sounded completely foreign. I can't say, like, in Witcher, but they call it Da Botana. It's actually Bohana. It's the Witcher, Valley of the Flowers. Da Botana is actually Botana, would actually be Bohana. At least according to my regional Irish. Botana could very well be accurate for all I know. So we did do tape work and actually hear things, but yeah, But yeah, it's just interesting hearing a you know, English is the only language I'm good at, and it's like I would like to, you know, learn another one, learn Japanese, so I can actually look at Japanese things without having to rely on quite unreliable translators. So it's interesting seeing the Japanese having issues with English. It's basically we're sharing and suffering, basically. And the way they were suffering was like, huh, that's not something I expected to see, but thinking about it, it's actually what we suffered with trying to learn Irish. I just remember the spelling tests we had to do, and it was just, I think it was very much the same kind of thing. They were much more intense about it. You know, these like learning off vocab lists, they seemed a bit more intense about it than the spelling tests we did. And this kind of thing. And I know we had the oral where we had to do the a conversation in Irish. But yeah, I'm just kind of realizing it's not that different. So, yeah. Did you just heal, you bastard? Yeah, fucker is leashing. Did I make sense there? But yeah, the person's pushing that exposure, learning how to hear the language and parse stuff that way is very important. And I'm kind of realizing how little we did that when we were trying to learn Irish as well. Like, English was constant exposure, so it was very easy to learn it. But I'm realizing Irish was the same way, and we are Irish. Unless you're in the Gaeltacht, you're not going to hear Irish said day to day. If you don't know what the Gaeltacht is, I'm not sure how to translate Gaeltacht, what it would mean in English, but Gaeltacht is a region of Ireland where you're only really meant to speak Irish. The people in there do also speak English, and I suppose if you got lost and ended up there, they would speak English to you and help you out. But if you're living there, you're really meant to live and breathe in Irish. It's to try and preserve the Irish language. It's just they're effectively like heritage spots in a way. Living, breeding heritage spots, if you want to view them that way. Because, like, in most of Ireland, you just speak English. There may be some Irish place names, but there'll be English names below them. The Gaeltacht regions are to focus on the Irish language and Irish culture, you know, to emphasize it more, to try and preserve it. So, English is constant exposure. So while we would have also had spelling tests in English and whatnot, it wasn't. There's also plenty of exposure going around, but I'm realizing how little exposure was in, like, for Irish. It's very much the same way with with them and English. I'm realizing. I suppose that explains why one of my Irish teachers. I shouldn't say that I had, was actually encouraging us to listen to, say, even SpongeBob in Irish. There is T.G. Cahir. Over here in Ireland, there's like RT1, RT2. I'm not sure if there's an RT3, but there's a T.G. Cahir. Channels 1 through 4. And T.G. Cahir is all in Irish, so you can watch SpongeBob in Irish, and, you know, different kind of things like this. And he was encouraging us to watch it, I guess, out of exposure to learn the language. I had no real interest, so I didn't do it, and then ended up forgetting about it. you off. I wonder if it made sense there. I'm really like just paranoid of like being gibbering like an idiot. Basically, I would love to learn Japanese. I think it would be a cool language to learn, and I wouldn't have to rely on non-reliable translators that deliberately edit characters and change things for their own personal tastes. Wouldn't have to rely on that. I've talked about my grievances with them extensively already on my channel, so I don't want to retread old ground here. So I wouldn't have to rely on them, and I could understand the language for myself, and if I was good enough, I could translate it for EE, potentially on the spot. If I was good enough. Like here with the Irish, like, dia dit, that means God be with you, but, or something to that effect, but its actual meaning is good morning. And the response to it, that, dia dit, the response to it is dia ismorgut, God and Mary be with you. Or something to that effect, which is good morning to you. Kind of told to, how are you? And Tome Gama is I'm fine. August tu fain, and yourself. So I could do something like that. I'd love that. So it's just interesting seeing people from the other side of view. Like I want to learn Japanese, but I find it the idea of it terrifying. So it's interesting seeing Japanese struggling with English. You know, it's like I'm struggling learning their language, and while English is not quite my language, it's the only one I'm good at, so they're struggling with that. So it's just interesting seeing that. It's not interesting. Let's go to Haywood. Need to get that training. It's just nice seeing that I'm not the only one suffering, if you get me, you know? I didn't think I would be, but it's just nice seeing it. And then the way the guy was critiquing it, it felt like, you know, that it felt... I never really thought about our issues with my issues with learning Irish, so their issues with learning English seemed very foreign, basically. And then as I was talking, I realized, shit, it was the same way with us. We had no real exposure to it, and we just did spelling tests and, like... just like trying to memorize shit without any real connection to the language. And that must be why the teacher was encouraging us to watch G.G. Carr, to hear the language more in everyday life, since we weren't into Gaeltacht. The teacher had actually also spent time in the Gaeltacht. He was talking about, he was going into a store, and somebody, like the store clerks were talking in English, but the moment they see him and realize, oh shit, teacher, oh yeah, they were good, yes. I couldn't even do fucking Irish, full Irish in what I was saying there. But, yeah. I like that teacher. He was a good guy. Hope he's doing well. But, yeah, I want to learn Japanese, and I find the idea of it intimidating. They're trying to learn Japanese, and they're finding English intimidating. So there's a sense of kinship there. Then initially their difficulties with it felt foreign, because I just never thought about my own difficulties with learning Irish. So I wish this went up higher rather than 1, 5, 10, 50. It was like, could I just pull out a quick 1,000, you know? Just grab it all. But just initially felt so very different, but it's really not. We were kind of the same, but we weren't as intense about it. Like I was saying, apparently, according to the guy I was reading, they will be writing out the full book cover to cover. They would be learning a vocab list upon vocab list. You know, they were much more intense about it, but we were kind of the same way, where we would do spelling tests and stuff like this, but we otherwise had very little exposure to the actual language. It also didn't help, at least my last Irish teacher was a lovely woman that really tried to help me out with it. She was a lovely woman. But the Irish teacher before her was a complete prick. I remember having to do a vocab list, a spelling test. We had to learn a number of words off, and she would test us on a random 10. I didn't hear one of them because I was trying really hard to remember how the words were spelled. So I did 1, 2 in the right order, but then I missed one, so the rest were in the wrong order. They were up 1. I only did 9 rather than 10. I was like, oh, I just misheard. It doesn't matter, you did them in the wrong order. They're wrong. And so it didn't matter that I just ended up missed one and was one behind. She refused to grade them. They were just wrong to her, and it didn't matter if I'd actually got them right. If I'd actually learned anything. It wasn't the fact of learning, it was to punish me for mishearing, for missing one. So when that's how you're trying to learn, it really makes the subject difficult. When it's an act of you dealing with hostility, you know. It makes it really hard to learn a language when you're learning it through the medium of someone being hostile to you. So, yeah, did not help. Remember Mum also blaming it on, like, how they would, beyond the hostility, how they would teach Irish. And I'm not sure if she meant in the exposure sort of way. But I don't remember what she meant. Mana after killing opponent with a spell, health, or increase your spell damage. I think this will be the most useful. I already have something to... Oh no, this doesn't actually increase your mana regen. Something magic does not feel as unfamiliar to you as it once did, but how to unlock all its limitless potential. So my mana regen has got up to 0.6, so it's an inherent 0.2 increase. Nice. So I'm really paranoid it didn't make sense there. I get like this some days, I'm just kind of fair. I would love to learn Japanese because I like Japanese stuff, and I could look at more of it that way if I actually knew the language, and I wouldn't have to rely on shitty translators. I could actually just understand it myself and then tell ye what it's saying. That would be awesome. So it's interesting. But I find it daunting and intimidating, and I have a general lack of drive in doing most things. So I haven't even started. So I find it. So I'm suffering about the language that way. So it's interesting to me to see Japanese people suffering to learn English because they basically got the opposite problem I do. I'm fine with English, but their thing is intimidating, and it's vice versa for them. So I just find that interesting. It's a kindred spirits kind of thing in a way, you know? And then initially there were issues with about just learning off vocab lists and doing stuff like that seemed very foreign to me. But then the more I thought about it, like when I remembered, oh yeah, I had to learn Irish growing up. The lack of exposure there, to the language, and just, well, we'll do some tape exercises there once in a while sort of thing. We mainly learned shit off and just did exact tests out of a book. We didn't really have much exposure to the language. Since we weren't in the Gaeltacht, everything was done out of English. So it's not that foreign. Realizing that, it's It was very samey, if you get me. So they were just more intense about the thing than we were. While we would learn a vocab with, we would have spelling tests and whatnot. It may have been 20 things we had to learn, but the way it sounds, with the way the guy was saying it, it sounds they were learning more than 20 words per thing. You know, it was more intense, and especially after writing the book out cover to cover multiple times. You know, as part of another grinding at the language. It just seems they were just more intense about it than we were. So yeah, I think that all makes sense. Hey, that's the goblin staff. Here it is. Fierce winds. I wonder who I could sell these to. Or do I have to just sell them to a normal place? General store. I'll have to look it up. Let's actually not go back to there just yet. I'm gonna head to that tower and use these keys. They're taunting me. So yeah, hopefully I made sense there. I'm really paranoid. I was just like a raving lunatic. These never did respawn. We actually did wipe them out. Gotta go this way. But yeah, I do just feel like I was a raving lunatic there. Double to trouble. It's effective enough. Dead. Ooh, missed. Dead. The magic actually works damn well. Okay, we can give this a try. But yeah, apologies for looping this so much. Sometimes I get like that. I get really paranoid that I'm not making any fucking sense. And then I just start looping. It's one issue I have with the fact I'm recording and not streaming. If I was streaming, then I could get interaction from chat, if there's anyone in chat, and you could say that, yeah, no, you make sense, you know, move on. You could actually tell me something. But since I'm doing it solo, and you may or may not see this sometime in the future, there's no real interaction, there's no reciprocation there. I think I can kill this guy easy enough. These serrated blades both inflict maximum damage and strike fear in the hearts of men. Yeah, he's a spell enemy. I think I'll be better off using a wand and no ember. If I have actual potions here, I'll be better off for it. Ah well, he's not my target anyway. My target is over here. Double fishing rod. More of a melee enemy than a spell enemy, but still. Awesome. These are kind of obnoxious. So, I got a bit more health now, thanks to the scroll of health. I was hoping I could get potions or something, as I feel that's all I need to kill this fucker. Whilst probably wandering in the woods, your skin will make for a nice pelt. I was kind of hoping I had a chance, because I can get him down pretty well, but I just don't survive quite long enough. The mouse clicking to... I think this mouse is on the way out. None of my gear is here. I got back here straight away. Fucking hell. Let's go to the scavenger by the graveyard. They might have my stuff there. Fucking hell. So... Bastard. Didn't even notice that was gone. That's a... would be a hell of a thing to lose. First time I've ever had Anne go to a scavenger. Normally it's all there on the ground. Okay, just taking the headset off, 1 sec. Thinking I may stop again for a mo. I think it may basically there's something I need to do IRL, but it's kind of time dependent. So, I think it may be time, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I may leave it here for a moment. Let me go and disable full screen. Just makes it easier to do this. So, I'll be back in a bit, folks. Hello, folks, and let us continue. I think I can kill that guy if I just go grab some potions. Could use it as an opportunity to train alchemy. Why is this chugging? I suppose I've had the game open all day. Went to sleep last night with it open. Woke up today and just left it open. Never turned it off. Could be that. It's kind of nice, but that spell, but I'm not really won over by it. Then again, can I cast Spirit Heal? Yeah. I can actually make it at some point, two of those totems. It's like the only thing you can make out of Fear's Wood. Well, it's for beyond the Priest's Lantern, which I could actually make right now. We'll worry about that later. Should I go buy more of those? Sure. Where's my crafting at? Oh, pick some cotton. I got 77.2. Huh. These are actually a ranged enemy. David and Goliath. This is actually a much better iteration. Oh, Jesus. This guy dropped the loot. I remember fighting trolls before and getting very little off him. But this guy gave a ton. But yeah, this is so much better than trying to charge that up. Like, I swear this does take off a bit of the cast time off the ability. I never did grab the key for here. No, wait, no, it's over in the other place. It's key for the other place, I think.